Okay, let's just get right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to tackle what has to be one of the most persistent, wildly debated topics in the entire crypto space right now. Look, if you've spent literally any time scrolling through financial social media lately, you've absolutely seen the crazy price predictions for a cryptocurrency called XRP. You know the ones. Some people are saying it's going to hit 10 bucks, others are calling for 100, and there is this very loud, extremely confident group insisting it's basically destined for $500 a coin. Well, today we're going to decode all those wild predictions using a single, undeniable mathematical truth. We're cutting through the noise and putting the math head-to-head with the hype. To really wrap our heads around the scale of this, let's look at what people are actually out there claiming. Take a look at this post from an account called @XRP_Maximalist. They say, XRP to $500 is conservative. Once banks adopt it globally, the demand will be insane. Stack now. Now, what's super interesting to me here is the specific language they're using. Words like conservative and insane demand. That is textbook FOMO, fear of missing out. They're selling you this narrative that a $500 price tag isn't just possible, it's practically a sure thing. And honestly, it's a brilliant psychological hook that pulls thousands of people right in.
And it's not just the anonymous meme accounts pushing this either. Look at this projection from a self-proclaimed crypto analyst from April 2026. They say, AI model projects XRP could hit $500 plus by 2035 based on Ripple's ODL growth and CBDC interoperability. Okay, pause. This is such a classic tactic. By dressing up their prediction in all this heavy financial jargon, dropping buzzwords like AI models, on-demand liquidity, and central bank digital currencies, they make an impossible target sound totally scientific. It's like, well, if an AI model says it and they use acronyms, it's got to be true, right?
Oh, and then there's my personal favorite. This viral post boldly claims, if XRP captures just 10% of global cross-border payments, it's worth $1,000 minimum. This is basic math. You gotta love the deep irony right at the end of that sentence. They're literally invoking the phrase basic math to justify $1,000 a coin. These claims are everywhere, but as you're about to see, they all share one massive, glaring problem. Not a single one of them actually shows you the real market cap math to back up those numbers.
So we really have to ask ourselves, is this kind of price action actually possible in the real-world economy, or is this just pure fantasy math? Look, I get it. It is incredibly easy to get caught up in the intoxicating fantasy of the hype. Who wouldn't want the crypto they're holding to suddenly skyrocket to 500 bucks? But we don't rely on hype here. We rely on data. We need to shift our mindset away from these exciting narratives and step straight into the cold, hard reality of global economics.
So let me introduce you to the ultimate truth serum of crypto investing. I call it the golden formula, and it's super simple. Price equals market cap divided by circulating supply. That's it. If you ever want to know if a crypto prediction is realistic, you absolutely must run it through this exact equation. This formula, it just brutally cuts through all the noise, all the buzzwords, and all the social media frenzy. Let's actually apply this formula to today's reality. Right now, XRP has a market cap of roughly $84.6 billion. Divide that by its circulating supply of 62 billion tokens, and you get exactly $1.37. Boom! The math is verified, it works flawlessly. But what happens if we want to hit that mythical $500 claim? Well, we just do the math backwards. Multiply $500 by those 62 billion tokens, and you get the absolute minimum amount of money that must be pumped into this asset to reach that price.
And that number is $31 trillion. I really want you to take a second and let that sink in. 31 trillion. That is the astronomical market cap strictly required for XRP to reach a price of $500 per coin. So the people posting on social media shouting about $500 are, whether they even realize it or not, demanding that the total value of XRP reaches $31 trillion. It's a number so unfathomably huge that the human brain kind of struggles to comprehend it in isolation. So let's give it some context. What does $31 trillion actually look like out in the real world?
Well, this is exactly where the hype shatters against reality. That $31 trillion requirement? Let's compare it to the entire projected gross domestic product of the United States for 2026, which sits right at $28 trillion. Think about that for a second. For XRP to hit $500, this single cryptocurrency would need to be $3 trillion larger than the total economic output of the world's largest superpower. Literally every single good, service, and product created by the United States in an entire year would still not equal the value of this one crypto at 500 bucks. The sheer absurdity of these predictions is staggering when you put it on a chart. We have the 31 trillion required for a $500 XRP. We have the 28 trillion US GDP. And then, way down there, we have NVIDIA, currently the single most valuable company on planet Earth, sitting at a market cap of 5.34 trillion. NVIDIA literally designs the chips that are powering the entire global artificial intelligence revolution, and yet the hype around this one coin completely dwarfs the market cap of the most influential tech giant in existence. It's wild.
We really have to issue a massive reality check right here. Not only does a $500 XRP require it to outgrow the US economy and absolutely crush NVIDIA, but let's just look at the crypto market itself for a second. The largest crypto by a mile is Bitcoin, sitting at a market cap of around $1.55 trillion. So for XRP to hit 31 trillion, it wouldn't just have to beat Bitcoin. It would have to become roughly 20 times bigger than Bitcoin and 10 times bigger than every single cryptocurrency in the world combined. No asset in the history of global finance has ever come even remotely close to this kind of exponential, impossible math. Let's peel back the curtain a bit and try to find a real, absolute maximum benchmark. Let's play devil's advocate and imagine a scenario where XRP achieves absolute world-dominating perfection. Let's say it becomes exactly as valuable as NVIDIA, hitting that $5.34 trillion market cap. What would the actual price of XRP be in that dream scenario? Well, if we take 5.34 trillion and divide it by the 62 billion circulating tokens, the math gives us exactly $86.13. That's it. Even if XRP matches the market cap of the single largest, most successful company on Earth, the price is only $86. It's not 100, and it is certainly not 500.
Now look, the point of this explainer isn't to just dunk on XRP or say it has no value, not at all. We just need to pivot to a fair and balanced perspective. So, what can it realistically achieve? The numbers actually do support genuine upside. Realistically, a bull case for 2026 puts XRP between $5 and $10, which represents a highly plausible $310 to $620 billion market cap. A strong bull case, stretching out to maybe 2027 or 2028, suggests $12 to $20 is totally possible, pushing near a $1.2 trillion cap. Reaching NVIDIA's scale at $86, that would be historically extraordinary. But that crypto Twitter case of $500 plus, the math simply says no way. So here is the undeniable truth we're walking away with today. XRP is absolutely a real project with real utility in the financial sector. But price claims require market cap math, not just loud opinions. Reaching $500 demands an impossible $31 trillion valuation. That is larger than the entire US economy, and it's 6 times more than NVIDIA. Realistically, $86, tying NVIDIA's massive cap, is the absolute highest ceiling you could ever rationally dream of, and honestly, even that is a monumental stretch. So, I want to leave you with a provocative question. The next time you are scrolling online and you see some guru promising massive returns, shouting about $500 or $1,000 price tags, before you buy into the hype, did you run the formula? Because you now have the secret knowledge. You know that price equals market cap divided by supply. I highly challenge you to go to sites like marketcapof.com, punch in those numbers and test the math yourself. Don't let fancy buzzwords empty your wallet. Rely on the math and you will always see the truth. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and I'll catch you on the next one.